Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, spirit, source, and symphony, we listen to the current energies, we listen to the unseen, and we go as guided. And there are quite a few. We've got like 3 or 4 mega topics for this week, for these energies that are permeating and playing out in this new beginning. Because as you'll recall, the unseen has been guiding us to look forward, not back. So this is all about looking forward, going as guided, and really embracing what's transpiring. So let's jump into it all. And as you know, wherever you're joining from around the globe, put in the comments, say hello. And we incorporate your comments and questions throughout the broadcast. Okay, so let's jump into this. One of the first things we are dealing with, and I'm going to show you, welcome Alicia, I'm going to show you the main energies first that we are dealing with, and because that helps us set the stage for what's taking place. And so all month long, it's an 11 month. November is an 11th month. So this whole crescendo and this building, this permeating of peace, and for us to take a deep breath and relax. And think about that in terms of your normal day. Just take, wherever you're meeting obstacles or frustration or fear, take a breath. It's all about peace and relax. The second number, which is the day, welcome Lorna, is the 8, and all next year is an 8, and we've been talking about this, unite, coming together. Welcome, Elizabeth. And so it's this beauty about, and think about that, and this is a really powerful message. You're going to see how this unite, bringing the various portions of ourselves into harmony, into unity, let alone the macro of that, which is all of humanity, 8 billion people, being one with, uniting, coming together. The 2023 is a 7-year. Welcome, Deborah. It's all about the army, the legions, the correct discipline, knowing that we have everything we need in every given moment. It's just that simple. When we add the 11 and the 8 together, it's a 19. That's approach. We're approaching the new. We're approaching something, and we're going to advance. And again, it's each individual step. So micro, macro, keep that in mind. Our individual lives and what we're experiencing is the micro, and then the whole of the whole, this advance towards the new, is the macro. And then when you add all the numbers together, the 11, the 8, and the 2023, it becomes a 26. And the unseen was very insistent with me about this 26, because the 2 and the 6 is an 8, and so we have double 8s, and the 26 in the hexagram in the I Ching is controlled power, amplify. And I just want to bring up, we're gonna do this in 2 parts. This is from iFate. So hexagram 26, mountain over heaven. And it says, this vital hexagram explores the power of holding firm and standing your ground. Don't become distracted by luxury and leisure. Stay the course with courage and inner discipline. This can be a time of great gains and increased well-being. However, you must keep your footing despite strong currents tugging at you. So don't get distracted. Don't become overwhelmed. Stay your course. Keep your footing. It says, put your ideas and projects into motion. Cross the waters without apprehension. Welcome, Olivia. See, it's about crossing the waters, crossing into the new, crossing fears, cross the waters without apprehension. Honor your strengths to achieve great things. So it's about seeing ourselves, and we're going to see ourselves in this show today. So we're setting the stage with hexagram 26. This is the numbers. It's a doubling down of the 8. Now let's move into, we've looked at the main energies. We're going to look at the astrological influences because it's going to play back, they're going to play back into our main theme. So let's then go to the astrological influences playing out. And they are, as of today, Venus enters Libra, and Venus, the sign of beauty and love, entering the sign of Libra, justice, harmony. And so there will be a sense of amplified beauty in things. So look for the beauty in everything. Look for the beauty in the small and the large. On Saturday, we have a much more profound dynamic. 1111, very powerful, master number, the most intuitive, doubling down. And it's the Mars-Uranus opposition. So Uranus, expecting the unexpected, is in Taurus, which means it's Earth. It will be tangibly felt and realized. And then Mars, how we act. It's the divine masculine in us. It's actionary. It's the creative force. And they are opposing one another. They are opposite one another. And let me just share my screen for a moment with you and bring up, this is Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. And the piece that we are going to look at here is the Mars-Uranus opposition. The strongest influence we're working with this coming week is an excitable and unpredictable Mars-Uranus opposition. While the aspect isn't exact to the degree until Saturday, November 11th, we are likely already feeling its effects, which will build in strength over the next several days. I don't know about you all, but Monday was a humdinger for me. And it eased off yesterday and today, knocking on wood so far. Wonderful. So it's building in strength. Mars, the planet of personal will, action, and desire, is currently in Scorpio, a sign of great emotional intensity. As the red planet approaches its opposition to radical Uranus, we can feel increasing restlessness and impatience and a powerful resistance to anything that seems to control or restrict us. Welcome, Colleen. Our energy may be very scattered, making it hard to focus. I experienced that. I don't know about you all. Put it in the comments. Let me know. The freedom-fighting urge is strong with Mars in aspect to Uranus. Plus, whenever Uranus is involved in an aspect, there can be an element of surprise in events that occur. Anger can erupt suddenly, and we may feel a strong impulse to take immediate action without considering long-term impacts. Keep that in mind because that plays to hexagram 26. If we are unable to temper the impulsiveness that tends to be triggered with Mars-Uranus aspects, and also are willing to be flexible when it comes to our expectations, we can tap into the positive potentials of this opposition. This aspect can inspire greater courage. crossing the waters, going as guided, moving into the new, and help us break free from routines and enable us to recognize and purge long-standing fears or resentments that have been controlling us from an unconscious level. So the positive aspect of this is literally about breaking free. It's purging the past. It's purging these things that have manipulated us, controlled us, been unseen, and not to be reactive. Respond, be proactive, see yourself. And we're gonna see this in a big way here in a moment. These benefits are more possible if we stay grounded, take our time when making decisions, and remember to breathe. Uranus often has effects similar to an electrical current or a lightning bolt. Nobody ever wanted to be struck by lightning, so keep that in mind. A strong connection to Earth and to nature acts like a copper grounding wire or a grounding rod, dissipating the static energy, protecting our neural pathways from overwhelm, and helping prevent a short circuit. So, by all means, stay grounded, take a deep breath, take a pause, and as we're building, because this comes up on Saturday, the unseen is saying to me, find yourself. Be willing to find yourself, not what's happening, not what's reactionary, not what might be pressing your buttons. Find yourself. Find yourself in the chaos, in the storm, so that you can sit and and they're literally like so that you can laugh with yourself, at yourself. And when we say at another, meaning it's not what's on the surface. It's what's within it. It's what's buried within. So have that sense of joy, that sense of humor to navigate and receive the positive aspects of this moment and these energies. Now let's move into the main entree. And Colleen is saying this is me all the time. Exactly. So you can more appreciate the profoundness of the moment. It is by calming ourselves that we're able to see ourselves, find ourselves. So let's move into the main theme here. And it's a big one. The main theme the unseen gave was reversal of fortune. And then I heard karma very loudly. Reversal of fortune, karma. Let the games begin. So we're going to take a deep dive here into what that all means. We're going to break it down. And I just want to let the games begin. So the let the games begin is a rallying cry to embrace the spirit of competition and fun. It can literally be from ancient times and everything. Let the games begin. The Olympics and so forth. It's this rallying cry about embracing the spirit of competition and fun. Let the games begin. It can also signify the start of something exciting and memorable. So here's the unseen. Reversal of fortune, karma. Let the games begin. Something exciting, the start of something exciting and memorable. It can also be interpreted as a metaphor for the various challenges and experiences that one encounters in life. This whole thing which we've had, and none of these are said in a negative connotation, simply what is. What goes around comes around. What you reap, you sow. Remove all negative connotations and just hear them from the place of what the unseen is saying to us is reversal of fortune, karma, let the games begin. And so there's this, they're saying to me, there's an irony in this statement. They're like, I can hear everyone like, really, Dearjames, are you trying to, sugarcoat this one? No, they really are. The unseen is really saying, the simplicity, it's the karmic wheel in the tarot. It's the wheel of fortune in the tarot and the world card. It is that aspect of where we are, because remember, Pluto in Capricorn is finishing up, tidying up. before it officially moves into Aquarius 1/24/24, January 24th of 2024. And we're doing this life review. 8 billion people on the planet. We are having a patriarchal, divine masculine life review. And there's Pluto tidying up business. And the unseen is saying reversal of fortune. So wherever you have been, if you've been really, great and good and kind, and yet you've been kind of held back, held down, and so forth, reversal of fortune. If you have been seemingly, raking it in and however you've been doing it at the expense of others, reversal of fortune. Karma, as we will get into, is not retribution. It has nothing to do with revenge and retribution. It has to do with cause and effect. And so this is where they're saying, let the games begin. Let the spirit and the generosity of what we have created be experienced, come forth. That is what they're talking about here. And so let me bring up, I'm going to bounce back to the actual chart for the astrological chart it's up on the screen now. So we're looking at the 11-11-23 Mars-Uranus opposition astrology chart. And you can see on the upper kind of top right, there's the sun and Mars next to each other. Slightly further to the left is Mercury. Directly opposite, coming southward, southwest a little bit, you will see in the green symbol, that's Uranus. Now, what I want you to focus on, because it plays out to what the unseen gave us. So we have this Mars-Uranus opposition. That's the strong red line in the center of the wheel. And this is from astroseek.com. What I want you to focus, though, on are the blue lines. And if you notice, the blue lines, if we start on the left side, Uranus at the bottom point, it goes up to Neptune. The blue line goes up to Neptune. It goes across towards the top to Pluto. From Pluto, it goes over to Mercury. And from Mercury, it goes down to Venus. And it looks like, and then you see a blue line between kind of the Sun and Mars and Neptune. You see a blue line going across. It looks like a tent. So the center of this, it looks like this. And what I heard was, the way appears. Let me bring up this image. The way appears. And then they showed me the image that you're seeing on your screen. It can be representative of the one in dominoes. It is the division symbol, the obelisk. And they said the way appears, and very clearly this symbol. Along with, from the astrology chart, the big tent, tabernacle, opens. And then I knew that it was a celestial event. And then they said, written in the stars. So what does this all mean? We have this, I'm going to bring it back up again. We have this Mars-Uranus opposition. We have this 11-11 astrology chart. And we have this big tent, tabernacle opens. And then this symbol, the way appears with the obelisk symbol. And I want to come back to you. So there was a big piece of this that the way appears, and the obelisk, the division symbol, was taking, in essence, mathematically, it's about taking two disparate things so that you can divide them into a singular, into a harmony. So imagine two parts of ourselves: ego, mind, personality, shadow self, and soul self. And this division, and yet the division brings about a singularity, a singleness, a wholeness, a unity. There's that aspect playing out. There's the aspect of the way appears. And with this symbol, let me just bring it back up again really quickly. You could denote as above, so below. Because these two singular blue dots, and they had me working on the color and this blue and representing royalty, divinity. When you look back a lot, Mother Mary and so forth, the white and the blue, very prominent, denoting royalty. We talked about last week, Sangreal, the royal blood. We're talking about this, and there's also this hierarchy of aspects of ourselves. There's a higher octave of ourselves, and how we reach that higher echelon, that higher achievement. And it is by choice. It is by soul choice, and it is by ego, mind, personality choice. We reach it because we align with ourselves. And look how harmonic. That vertical alignment is very harmonic. It's perfectly aligned. And it is vertical, it's not horizontal. So this aspect of unity, that it is a symbol, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So they are saying to us, there is going to be, the way appears, something is going to appear that symbolizes the way. And this brought me back to, what it immediately brought me back to was the Star of Bethlehem. When baby Jesus was born, the 3 wise men who are in Persia, this Star of Bethlehem appears. It's not regularly there or regularly seen. It was a phenomenon. It appeared. They knew to follow it to the newborn Christ, baby Jesus. It showed them the way. There's a bajillion stars in the heavens. There are the planets that appear regularly. That's a way, my way, your way, highway. And then the Star of Bethlehem appeared, and it was the way. And that's what they followed. So there's an aspect here about this, that will take place. Then the Israelites, having been freed from from Egypt, the big tent and the tabernacle. Bringing back up this image. There we go. This tent in the middle. And remember from many shows ago, we had the big tent. It's very like the carousel, big tent exceeding. We're exceeding our previous selves. There's something greater on offer for us. So we have this big tent, and the tent, back at the time of Exodus, the tent, as the Israelites were moving their way to the promised land, to Canaan, they had the tent and the tabernacle. The big tent was the tent of presence. It's where they went to commune, to receive information. The tabernacle was the place of dwelling. That is where literally they speak of where Yahweh, the God of the Israelites, was with them, dwelled with them. And so we have these two big aspects, and they're saying to us, the way appears, the big tent, the tabernacle opens. It's a celestial occurrence or event. It's something we will see, like the Star of Bethlehem, in the skies, in the heavens. And then they said, written in the stars. So it's destined to occur, just as it did 2,000 plus years ago. I know. People have been waiting millennia for it. I understand. And yet, it doesn't make it any less true or any less possible. It just simply hasn't occurred yet. And that is one of the bigger points that they are making here with us. To go along with, I want to bring up the SABIAN symbols that go with these, with the 1111, with the Mars-Uranus opposition. And so when you look at Mars, it's at 21 degrees Scorpio, so it's going to be 22. And it says, obeying his conscience, a soldier resists orders. The keynote is a readiness to face the results of a refusal to follow the authoritarian patterns of an aggressive society. It's saying that we have a state of consciousness, and its end all be all is inner freedom. What it's saying is that, so we're having this life review of patriarchal Piscean era rule. A readiness to face the results of a refusal to follow the authoritarian patterns of an aggressive society. We are turning away, we are shunning, we are being shown, Pluto, we are being shown the least among us, the shadow elements, to make a decision. Is this me? Is this what I want? Is this the world I wish to live in? And if it's not, then it's that inner freedom that allows you to say, I'm going this way. And that is about stillness. It's strength and stillness. It's not yelling and screaming in someone's face. It's not demeaning the other side or whoever that may be. It's simply saying to yourself, with yourself, seeing yourself and saying, with great resolve and strength and courage, I'm going this way. This is the world. It's over here. This is the one. It's in the new. It is not about cleaving to the past. So there's Mars, and remember, Mars, actionary. Here's Uranus, the unexpected. It's at Taurus 21, so it's Taurus 22. White dove flying over troubled waters. The keynote is the spiritual inspiration that comes to the individual in the overcoming of crisis. It's end all be all, and it says here we also are confronted with a symbol of guidance, and the dove flying over troubled waters reminds one of the story of Noah and the ark. Noah met his and mankind's crisis courageously and in complete obedience to God's promptings, soul source connection. The test completed, he received the dove's message. It is a message from the Holy Spirit announcing a new dispensation. This symbolic scene can be applied to personal crises resulting from emotional upheavals or from the eruption of unconscious forces and impulses into the consciousness, something coming from higher. If the crisis has been faced in the right spirit, this second stage symbol is in contrast to the preceding one because here it is not the product of a culture, a book, but instead the rhythm of cosmic, God-ordained cycles that reveals its conclusive beat through a living and concretely significant sign. This symbol, this sign, the way appears, Star of Bethlehem. And it is, quote, a reward to the faithful. So it is about being aligned and believing. And in the Bible as a reference, it always speaks to be ready. Be ready means to live rightly, correctly, in alignment with right spirit, goodness, harmony, unity. There's all the examples that we have. Just to give you Pluto sitting at the apex of the tent, a woman reading tea leaves. Its keynote, the ability to see the signature of hidden meaning in every occurrence, drawing one's attention. Its end-all be-all is about clairvoyance. So here again, we have this clairvoyance aspect. We have, let me give you another one really quickly. The sun is sitting right next to Mars. It's Scorpio 19. A parrot repeats the conversation he has overheard. The capacity to transmit transcendental knowledge, otherworldly knowledge. So the parrot is repeating the conversation it's overhearing from a higher octave. Its end-all be-all is about channelship. So clairvoyance, channelship, being able to intuit and hear multiple signs and symbols here about it's not just about our everyday lives. That is the illusion that's in front of us. That can be the chaos, the crazy, the circus. What is fundamental and what is very clear from this reversal of fortune, karma, let the games begin, is a celestial event, our ability, clairaudience, channelship, our ability to hear and receive something outside of, or via our soul source connection, outside of the norm, and how that will play out. Now let's dip our toe into karma, shall we? I can hear everybody going, no, shaking their heads. No, I'm good. So karma, this is from Wikipedia. Karma, from Sanskrit, is a concept of action, work, or deed, and its effect or consequences. In Indian religions, the term more specifically refers to a principle of cause and effect, often descriptively called the principle of karma, where an individual's intent and actions, cause, influence their future, effect. Good intent and good deeds contribute to good karma and happier rebirths, while bad intent and bad deeds contribute to bad karma and bad rebirths. And remember, everything being divine and neutral. See, karma is really neither good or bad. It's simply this, because it's energy, it's cause and effect. We then as humans will experience something in a positive or negative manner, and yet as it unfolds and it flowers, we can, our judgment or our assessment of that can evolve. So something that we deemed really good might present itself. We might ebb through it and go, oh, well, now the burdens of all of this are heavy, so I don't know that that was such a good thing. And then we progress through it. Oh, it evolves again, and now that burden or that weight is less. We're back in this good place judgment of it. The same works in reverse. So, as per some scripture, there is no link between rebirths and karma that we know of. Meaning, I would say to you that because the idea that rebirth and karma are linked is because there is what I call bleed throughs. So with multi-incarnational aspects or past life aspects, and this was very important. Shirley MacLaine, it's coming to me, and I wanted to make a point about this. As she dove in very, voraciously into her, she wanted to know, is this all bunk or is this truth? And so she went about really discerning and diving into spirituality, her spirituality, the truth of spirituality, the truth of all of this, of the unseen. And she said, I had this epiphany. And she said, what came to me is, if I've been here before, past life reincarnation, and I'll be here again, or the possibility that I will be here again, what I do in this lifetime, in the present lifetime, the present incarnation, matters. That is the epitome of karma. So if I've been here before, and there's the possibility, the likeliness that I will be here again, what I do in this lifetime matters. Everything I do matters. That's karma. That is this huge aspect, reversal of fortune, karma. Let the games begin. And they said karma is often misunderstood as fate, destiny, or predetermination. The concept of karma is closely associated with the idea of rebirth in many schools of Indian religions, particularly in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism, as well as Taoism. In these schools, karma in the present affects one's future in the current life, as well as the nature and quality of future lives, one's samsara. This concept has also been adopted in Western popular culture, in which the events that happen after a person's actions may be considered natural consequences of those actions. So we've talked a lot about, in Weekly Wisdom and Insights in this journey, about the purity of one's intentions. Because when we really sit with ourselves, when we really see ourselves, we see the wisdom of the fact that everything is divine and neutral, everything is energy, and each of us are characters in the other person's, the other soul's play, that we've asked them to come in and play a role. Humans will readily accept that when it's good, when it's, quote, neutral or good, positive. They revolt and reject it when it is something negative, or when it is something what we would classify as heinous, horrible. We stop ourselves from looking to allow something to unfold, to flower, to see what's beneath, what's within. That's where the gold is, the patterns of gold. And speaking of patterns and symbols, let me bring up, it's called the endless knot. It is the image or the symbol for karma. And you can see it's an endless, quote unquote, knot or creation symbol. It continues to keep enveloping, no beginning, no end. And so this endless knot, and yet knot, it can mean bound up, tied up. It can also, when you look at this image, look like the most beautiful tapestry, this woven, moving, endless creation, this tapestry of creation. So again, what is your karma? What is your dharma? What are your choices? And this is what is playing out at this moment. It says karma also refers to a conceptual principle that originated in India, often descriptively called the principle of karma, and sometimes the karma theory or the law of karma. So here I just want to give you, in causality, a common theme to theories of karma is its principle of causality. This relationship between karma and causality is a central motif in all schools of Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain thought. One of the earliest associations of karma to causality occurs in the Brihadara Niyaka Upanishad. I know I just brutally mangled that, and I practiced it. And it says, now as a man is like this or like that. According he acts, and according as he behaves, so will he be. A man of good acts will become good. A man of bad acts, bad. He becomes pure by pure deeds, bad by bad deeds. And here they say that a person consists of desires. And as is his desire, so is his will. And as is his will, so is his deed. And whatever deed he does, that he will reap. So there's a massive reminder and opportunity at this point. And it's not lost on me as well to say to everyone, to a degree, what is. Anything that has already occurred, the Piscean era, the patriarchal rule, it's already occurred, it's already happened. And we are at this cleanup stage review, before we move forward. It's hexagram 6364, before completion and after completion. It's that thing of, we're looking at this so we will reap what we sow. We will receive divine and neutral, the energy of our actions, of our deeds. And that's okay. Everything is purposeful. Whatever the soul said it needed to experience is what it's experiencing. What we collectively said we needed to experience, we are experiencing. The point will be, what do we do now? Who are we now in this moment? Own, atone, release. We can change, quote unquote, change the past by changing the present, which changes our future. We can atone for things that we've done silently. We can earnestly atone and then release it and move on, move forward. That all creates new karma. And yet in the new, I'm mindful of in the new, the unseen has said to me many times, it will not be this reincarnational wheel. The new is the new. It's a whole new operating system. And so as we advance, and you may be saying, well, Dearjames, then why did why did we just spend 40 minutes on this? Because in this life review, we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We stand on the shoulders of giants. We stand on the precipice of what came before so that we see into the new. There will always be a part of us, even if the order, the new order of things changes, the way changes. It will still some way, somehow, have aspects of who we've been. Even though we proceed, we advance in a new way, a different way. And that's why we have this review. The second thing they said with this was, they said, a great or grand awakening. And they had me use the word grand with an E. It denotes a feminine aspect. In Latin languages, the E at the end denotes a feminine aspect. So there's a great, grand awakening. And then I heard the song Honey, Honey by ABBA. And they said a feeling or state, because it was euphoria. And then I heard euphoria. And that euphoria means a feeling or state of intense excitement and happiness. And so this great grand awakening, this Honey, Honey, How I Love You, it's a love story. It's a song about a love story. And this euphoria, a feeling or state of intense excitement and happiness. It says to me, when this celestial event occurs, that is what we will all feel, this sense of euphoria, this intense excitement and happiness. When you really just sit and think about the world as you want it to be, this love, harmony, balance, goodness, joy, it brings about an intense feeling of excitement and happiness. You want to get to it. Let me bring in Alicia saying, I tend to wonder about karma and planned life lessons when something bad or challenging happens to myself or someone else than with good occurrences. Karma is the only thing that makes bad events make any sense. However, remember, it's cause and effect. Karma is cause and effect. So whether it's our energy, our thoughts, our feelings, our intentions, because intentions are intent. What is the intent in any choice, in any decision you make in life? If there's a sense of illicitness, shadow aspects, negative, what we deem negative, that is at the root of the intention of the action. So its effect, its boomerang effect, what's going out is already coming back to us, is going to be then negative. Now, one can say, and keep in mind with karma, one can say, well, I was just having a happy, good old day, and then wham! Well, yes, because karma, energy, it's all moving at various speeds and moments. So remember, karma can be something that happened 100 lifetimes ago that's happening now. or it can be from 10 days ago that's happening now. It is for us to remember and recognize when something occurs. And the unseen is saying to me, when you just sit with yourself, when you see yourself, you will be able to go, yeah, I kind of remember that maybe I did something like that, or, oh, yeah, I've yelled at somebody before, and, it may have been 10 years ago, before, but you'll see yourself in the event. And thus, wisdom, divine truth, seeing oneself. And again, when it's something, oh, this person's so wonderful, and then something bad happens to them. But that may be an aspect of karma from a previous lifetime. And then, again, to stay in non-judgment of something, what unfolds and flowers from that event in this lifetime with and for self and to others? Because it's never what it appears to be on the surface. There is always this pattern of gold, this divine purity and truth playing out. And that is the divine way that it was orchestrated. And it's only by allowing the unfolding, by making space, by emptying our vessel, let me not judge this, let me see what comes about within myself and others. Ah, there it is, there's the gold. It may have come in a way that, quote, air quotes, we don't like, meaning, we're judging it, we don't like it, it's negative, and yet the purity of its offering remains nonetheless. It will develop and flower. People will receive it and see it when they allow it. That it's in the allowing. Let me bring in, I want to go to our mantra really quickly, because it's so fitting with karma. I am the master of my experiences. This is so very, very true. I am the master of my experiences. So be the master, be the helmsman, be the captain. Choose better, choose wisely. And when we fall short, and we all do, it's a part of the human experience. When we fall short, own, atone, release. You don't need to beat yourself up. Your apology, your atoning isn't dependent on another person accepting it. Your surrender and your empowerment isn't dependent on others. The purity of your intentions is not dependent on others. You are the master of your experiences. It's that simple and that true. And what happens? You see in the upper left-hand corner of the image, this beautiful iridescent blue and turquoise butterfly. You're instantly reborn each time. It's just a matter of how it works. Deborah's saying, I feel as if I have been in this review process, especially since Monday. Yes, it's big energies of review because they are saying, look, well, here's number 3, and it fits perfectly what Deborah was just saying. They said, mirror, mirror on the wall. And of course, who's the fairest of them all? It's from Snow White. And what they were saying is, mirror, mirror on the wall. Honest reflection, purity, and purity of truth. So honest reflection and purity of truth. When the queen asked the mirror told her all this time, oh, you're the fairest of them all, you're the fairest. And then along comes Snow White. And she says, Snow White's the fairest of them all. Because there was something new in the realm, in the forest. Well, and what was required of the queen? What was required was honest reflection, purity of truth. She didn't like what she saw and she didn't like what she heard. She had been lying to herself And the mirror wasn't lying to her because Snow White wasn't in the realm, in the forest, in the kingdom until that moment. And then the queen had to reconcile with someone that was pure, more pure. Well, it's that same aspect of self. There's an aspect of each of us that is more pure than what the ego mind personality aspect has created. And so again, there's this big opportunity for all of us to see ourselves honestly, purely. And then what will each of us do is up to us, but what will each of you do with that wisdom? Because it is wisdom, with that truth. Are we willing to course correct? Are we willing to empty our vessel? Are we willing, or do we double and triple and quadruple down? Do we know all and everyone else knows nothing or little? It depends. It's a choice. So Alicia's saying that was my point. Even if we can't see why something bad is happening to someone, we're just not seeing why they created the situation on a higher level. Yes, because again, our thoughts, our actions, anything that's deemed quote unquote negative. And so we can see on a world stage negative choices or events, cause, and its effect. The effect of it may play out 100 years later. It may play out 2 minutes later. I mean, you see those videos, they're showing, like YouTube and, karma. So they do something and cruddy, like they cut somebody off and then all of a sudden they wreck their car. And they're like, instant karma. Well, so it can play out instantaneously or it can play out lifetimes later. The moral of the story is, if I've been here before and I'll be here again, what I do now matters. Profound wisdom by Shirley MacLaine. Profound. And thereby, this moment of review, this process, and it doesn't mean we don't have to be worried and overwhelmed at, oh my God, I'm a horrible person and blah, 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 blah. That's not the moral of the story. It's simply about right spirit, right energy, righting your ship. And you can do that at any moment, at any time. It just needs to be earnest, honest, pure. If it's manufactured and, I'm just doing, pardon me, Hail Marys to get through, nod and wink, that's not going to cut it. That's just more cause waiting for the effect of that intention, because look at the energy in that intention. So exactly, Olivia saying atonement is actually at one-ment. Exactly, it's that atoning, and there's great things. You can sit, maybe someone's a past person that's no longer, maybe you're not in contact with someone. You can still earnestly, when you feel it, not if, when you feel it, you can earnestly write out an apology or say, I'm so sorry that I wronged you. Because the thought should be earnestly, do you want to come back in another experience? And while the new says it won't be this reincarnational wheel and aspect. So, Dearjames, why would it matter? Because we're still right here in the here and now. We're still in the present. So what we do matters. Right spirit, right energy. So we can write, R-I-G-H-T, write things, and we can write W-R-I-T-E, write things to atone for things, to make them right. Even if the other person is unable to accept them, whether that's a physical aspect or whether it's the fact that they're not having it. They're not accepting your atonement. But remember, your atonement isn't dependent on them. Your atonement is dependent on you. Are you earnestly atoning for something? Should you do so? Own, atone, release, and then release it. You don't need to beat yourself up for the next, eternity, because you've earnestly atoned for something, and then you release it. And watch how, they say in French, très léger, you become very light. It lightens you. It moves you forward. It advances you. So that whenever all of this occurs, you will be that much further down the road, so to speak, down your path, your journey of rightness. And that purity will speak for itself. Last but not least, the fourth thing, 4D. We're in the 3D. This is 4D. And they said the honest, underlined, engine, E-N-G-I-N-E. The honest engine wins the race with multiple exclamation points. Now, the honest refers to the feather. So back in ancient Egypt and Egyptian times, your soul, your heart, your soul was weighed against the weight of a feather. If it was deemed to be pure and honest and true and good, it moved forward, it advanced. If it wasn't, if it was not that, it didn't. So the honest feathers, engine. The engine that they're speaking about is the soul, purity of the soul, because it is our life force. It is our engine. It is the spirit, the soul. So the honest engine, feather, soul, wins. Win is advance. W-I-N-S is advances. That's the win. The win is advancing. And they said, the race. Not a race, not some race. A race. The race. The race is next level ascension. So the race that we're all running, not competing in, but participating in. The race is ascension. So what we win is next level ascension. So the honest engine wins the race. Feather, soul, advances, next level ascension. And then they said, lastly, dream a little dream of me, which they've given us before. And this is literally the Father. This is source. Dream a little dream of me. Think of me as I think of you. Whew. Made me emotional for a second. Dream a little dream of me. Because what the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the divine mother, father, the all that is, wants for us is what they want for themselves. This love, this goodness, this kindness, this joy, this oneness, this unity. So this dream a little dream of me is a reminder. It's a way for us to remember who we really are and how we get there. How we return, amaji, return to the mother. How we come home. And we can come home to ourselves. It's not outside of us. It is the spirit of truth that says, I am this divine creation. I am love. I am goodness. Well, how do I come home to myself? Quote unquote, through the Father, through the Son, through the Spirit, through the soul. Not ego, mind, personality. You're not going to buy it. You're not taking it with you. You can't bribe. You can't lie your way. You can't steal it. None of that works. Like they said to us with the partridge. Jeremiah 17, 10, 11. Remember, what you do illicitly, you lose in this lifetime and you're rendered a fool. So it's by earnest action, earnest intention. That is the way to, the way through. And this dream a little dream of me, dot, dot, dot. And this came up in a client's reading most recently, and it was it's a greater narrative, but it's all when the clock strikes 12. So again, there's an aspect of this 4D aspect, this event occurring when the clock strikes 12. And 12, midnight, 12. And this dream a little dream of me when the clock strikes 12 is to remember who you are. It's to remember where you're going. It's to know that you've won the race because you've done the works. And that is where, let me just give you the two. I'm going to post hexagram 26. Again, it is mountain over heaven, great achievements, strength, and stillness. We don't have to run roughshod over ourselves or others. This is about strength and stillness, truth, purity of truth, honest reflection, and what we do with all of that wisdom, with all of that, with all of those gifts, and not being afraid to see ourselves. If somebody else doesn't like what they see, that's them. You just have to love what you see. Just make sure that what you love, that you see, is pure, meaning it's a pure image. It's not the queen in Snow White lying to herself. The mirror wasn't lying to her. At the time, she was telling her the truth. You're the fairest of them all. But that doesn't mean that amongst the whole of the whole, that's anything to write home about. She was only able to truly see herself when Snow White came into the forest, into that realm. And then the mirror says, now she's the fairest of them all. Not from her beauty, her physical beauty. Yes, she was beautiful. It was her inner beauty, her inner purity. And are we willing to do what's necessary to embrace all of that? Let me bring up the two quotes really quickly, mindful of the time. 10:01 here, it's 1001. Remember, the way to through. It's this image right here. 1001, the way to through, the way. So our first quote, life's secret is that it has been committed to your success since the beginning. It has always been there. Life's secret is that it has been committed to your success since the beginning. And the second quote, which I love this with hexagram 26, overcoming others shows force. Overcoming yourself demonstrates strength. These are both from Carrie Hone at cafeausoul.com, where we always use them for, a lot of the times we use them for the hexagrams, for the I Ching. So again, remembering, and look at the repose of this lion. Overcoming others shows force. This lion isn't demonstrating force. Overcoming yourself demonstrates strength. This lion is demonstrating strength. I am. It just is. I don't need to go Mars. I don't need to go cause something that the effect will come back to bite me later. There's a beauty in the strength of all of this. Let me just finish up. Deborah said, I love that, and heard someone else say that last week. It absolutely resonates with how we should see ourselves. Elizabeth, always coming home. I know my connection to source is coming home. Exactly. Coming home, these things with Deborah and Elizabeth, and Deborah saying, let me just bring it all together. Wow, I love that about 12/midnight. Last night I heard this beeping sound and it woke me up. It was an alarm that had been set accidentally at midnight. Accidentally, air quotes. So yes, there's such a powerfulness of coming home. And that is the first realization. Let's close with that. Coming home means coming home to self, to soul source connection, Holy Spirit, right spirit, rightness. That's what coming home is. That is what aligns you with true north. That is unwavering. It's been committed to your success from the get-go. It's what you arrived with. It's what you leave with. It is that soul, S-O-U-L and S-O-L-E relationship that you will have. It's eternal. And that is the way to and through. And it's never too late to, quote unquote, air quotes, get it right. Meaning, be the steward, be the master of your experiences. With that, I look forward to next week. Next week will be on the 15th. We'll be 2 days shy of our 2-year anniversary of Weekly Wisdom and Insights. And so I am very excited to see what the messages will be and to have all of you 2 years on this journey of self-renewal, self-discovery, and empowerment, purity of truth and intention, karma, creating new karma. So thank you all for your incredible presence, your comments, your energy, your love, and the beauty of your divinity. And we will see you next week.